Hi and welcome to Mizo Tarot's Tarot Teachings. I'm Mila Herenda, your host for this volume 2 of learning how to read the tarot like a pro. It's going to be awesome. We're just at the second lesson, so this is great. Today we're going to talk about the major and minor arcana and the cups, pentacles, swords, and wands, where I'm going to talk a little bit about the aces and how they're the start of our journey in each suit. And I'm also going to talk about, pardon me, the spread here, message from the universe. So I'm going to go over that with you. That's a really good spread that if you're not really feeling a certain question, you can do this one and gauge kind of how you're doing from Spirit. And I got that spread from this book from Barbara Moore. This is my favorite deck to use, the Mystic Dreamer Tarot, and it's Barbara Moore, and the artwork is done by Heidi Doris, and I just love this deck. It's through Llewellyn worldwide, and you can buy the deck on Amazon. Okay, so let's get started. The Major Arcana. Major Arcana, I have the Fool card here, which is the very first of the Major Arcana, which is a 0, and it goes from 0 to 21. So there's 22 cards out of the 78 that are the Major Arcana, and these are the major events that happen in our lives. They tend to last over a period of months or weeks or sometimes even years. As we go through these things, it's always a reminder to us. They bring up our deepest, darkest fears. They bring up our happiness, our joy. They bring up justice. When we're not feeling like we've been justified, they bring up our strength and fiery passion, and also new beginnings and knowledge within ourselves. I'll do a whole teachings on the Major Arcana on another day, but for today I'm going to show you the Fool card. I hope you can see that good. The Fool card is a 0, infinity, so energy keeps on going and going, and it's also the beginning of the Major Arcana. So if you see this in a reading, you know that the person is just about to start on their path. They're just going into a brand new cycle of life for them, which will bring them through all 22 cards eventually, but you got to start somewhere. So the Fool card, I love the Fool card too, because the Fool card, it's got a jester, and he's got cards himself. He's also got a dog for warning and for companionship and loyalty. And the Fool card is all about using your intuition and following your gut instinct. So when that card comes up for somebody in a reading, it's a real magical time for them. They can do whatever they want at this moment, which is great. So, you know, if they get a crazy idea about something, they should follow through with it, because the Fool cards tell them, go ahead, do it. And the mountains in the background in this one, I always think of mountains as a firm foundation. So that idea, that crazy idea that they might have had, is actually on a firm basis, and that's what Spirit is telling them. Okay, so I am going to as well, now we're going to talk about each suit. Actually, while you, I want you to pause this video right now, grab your deck if you don't have it already, grab your deck and actually separate it into wands, swords, pentacles, and cups, okay? So I'll let you do that, grab it, and then we'll come back, okay? Okay, you're all back. unpaused, ready to go. Perfect. So the minor arcana, within each suit, it has its own life cycle as well. So if you pull an ace at the start of any of those minor arcana, pardon me, if you pull an ace at the beginning of that, that means that you're at the start, the beginning, a fresh start in each one of the suits, and that each suit represents a different part of our lives. So I'll start off with cups. Let's start off with cups. So the Ace of Cups, which is right here, and I literally translate this card to being and giving the gift of love. And it's about our emotions, right? So this is, on this card there's a dove, and it represents that gift that we all have. We all have it in us, and we have it around us. People around us want to love us, and we should be giving love back to all of those people. It's all about that. It's that beginning point. So when this card comes up, I often think that there might be a new relationship on the horizon, or things will be brightening up for them. Their emotions are going to be getting smoothed out, and they're just feeling a lot better than maybe perhaps they have been in the past. The cups, they tend to have us with our emotions kind of wrapped around their finger. We go on a roller coaster sometimes. It brings the ups and downs of friendships, relationships, family life, and you know, it's also where we get married, break up, arguments, and it's where we find the low moments perhaps when we're depressed, and it's also when we find the strength to be happy again. So it's a very powerful aspect of our lives, and we've got to really, really be aware when a lot of cups come up. If they're in the reverse, it means that we're not thinking clearly. It means that we don't have our emotions under wraps. It means that we're probably being far too sensitive and crying at a drop of a hat, and etc., etc. We don't want to be that person. Well, at least I don't. I've had moments, I just kind of giggled to myself, because I have had moments where it is like that, you know, and we've all had moments like that. But we've got to get in control of our emotions and move forward. Okay, so now the next one here that I'm going to talk about is Pentacles. Pentacles are all related to health and money. So when we're at the beginning of the Pentacles, which some people call coins, and it's related to earth energy as well, because that's the same in feng shui. Earth energy is money energy, building your abundance, wealth, blessings, it's all earth energy. And that's how I remember the Pentacles are about money. This is where health is as well, because you want to be healthy in finding money, finding ways to make money, and you want to be healthy in general, because I find that everything I do, I like to be balanced in all ways. That's why feng shui is a big part of my life. But when the Ace of Pentacles comes up, this is all about, this is a great time for you to be looking for a job. You'll probably get one. It's also a good time for you to get ideas going about new ways to make money, and it's also like the perfect time to start a health routine. So when the Ace of Pentacles comes up, it's good to encourage the person that you're reading or yourself about, you know, it's really good time for you to go and get healthy right now, because you know, the cards are aligning and the stars and everything else. This is where you'll find the Pentacles in general. You'll find new jobs, juggling both work and health, getting promoted. You're going to let go of limiting beliefs in the Pentacle cards. And there's also, we have to ask for help when sometimes, later you'll know. And that's the Five of Pentacles, when we have to ask for help. Sometimes we don't like to, but we have to, you know. Sometimes we need like loans or whatever it is. So those are all to do with Pentacles. And when the Ace of Pentacles comes up, if it comes up reversed, means usually that it's not going to happen for you. Like maybe the job you applied for you're not going to get, or it should be an opportunity missed, or things like that. Next thing I'm going to talk about here is we're going to go to Wands. Okay, Wands. Here's the card for that. It's related to fire. You guessed it. That's where the passion lives. This is where our drives and ambition meet. Fire is all about our work relationships, our ambitious pursuits, and in the Wands, this is where you'll find new lovers. This is when we get those challenges met and maybe we're victorious. Opportunities arise out of nowhere, and our hard work. And sometimes our hard work pays off, and sometimes our passion gets us into arguments with the ones that are closest to us. Wands I kind of relate to work. So when the people come up in the Wands, I generally think it's a work-related issue. Not always though. The tarot is however it is. It comes up for whatever it is. Now the next one that I'm going to talk about is Swords. And this is the Ace of Swords there. And the swords are all about our intellect, our smart choices. And it's related to error, because that's our thinking. When we put it out to the universe, we put it out through the air, you know. And this is about how we make our choices. We'll find decisions to be made in this area as well. And we're supposed to make them with logic. This isn't a place for emotion. This is logical, good on paper choices to be made. So, you know, and they're supposed to be made with our intellect, logic, and good, solid, wise decisions. The other thing that comes up with the swords are sleepless nights, arguments, heartbreak, and timeouts, so that we need to take time out and meditate over a decision that needs to be made. Or, you know, sometimes the swords are kind of tough because, you know, if you think of a sword, it's a double-edged sword, right? So you can cut through air, you can cut through anything, but it also, sometimes they are a little bit brutal, the swords, because they warn us about untruth, ask us to remain balanced through times of necessary change, and this is where we really, really release those thought patterns that hamper us from moving forward. Okay, so I'm going to just talk a tiny bit about the court cards, but I'm going to, in the next episode, I'm going to do a whole hour on the court cards, because most people find the court cards the most difficult to learn because they represent people, and there is a correlation from each deck to astrological signs, but that's not always the case. It could be people that are acting a certain way, but not that star sign, so you have to kind of go by the description of what people are doing. General basic rules for the court card though is if it's a king or a queen, they're usually an older person in our lives. Generally speaking, a father, a mother, an aunt, or an uncle, or an older brother or sister if you're already in, you know, over into your adult age. It could represent a grandma, grandpa, anybody like that. Could be our bosses, anybody that's generally speaking older than you, or if you're already an adult, it's someone your own age or somebody that's maybe in a position that's around your age too. Okay, then there is the knights and princesses or pages, and they are younger people, so they can be either, and if there's a guy that's 56 but he's acting like an 8-year-old, he could show up as a Knight of Wands perhaps. Or if there's an older lady that is being really emotional, and she might show up as the Page of Cups reversed because she's being totally oversensitive and stuff and childlike, right? So the tarot deck will give you what the person is doing more often than what their actual star sign is, or that's how I find it anyways. That's how it works for me. I'm not the best on astrological things, so I'm going to actually have a guest one time on astrological meanings to the tarot deck, so that's going to be great because I'm looking forward to learning that myself. I do know a bit, but okay, what's the next thing here? We all have each and every card in the deck in our lives at one point or another. So this means that each court card is within us at all times, and we show those different aspects of ourselves when we require that person to come out. So when we're required to stand up for ourselves, perhaps we become, whether you're female or male, the King of Swords. They are usually highly intelligent. I tend to see King of Swords as business owners, generally speaking, or they do pretty good for themselves because they're very intelligent. But they really couldn't give two bleeps on what you think of them. They're one of those people. They have little regard for what you think and just has no patience for people that are dumb or what they perceive as dumb, and just have no patience, and they couldn't care less what you think of them. So that is actually a good quality to have sometimes, but you don't want to be like that all the time, right? So, okay. So now we've gone over just the little basics of the court cards and the aces there, which is wonderful. Now when we are learning the tarot, I want to say it's very, very important to follow our intuition at this time. And I have a little bit of a thing that I use, which I call myself a little bit of an empath, which just means that I'm empathetic to how other people feel. And you'll find that you're sensitive as well because you want to learn tarot, so you already have these energies and feelings within you, but I want you to really zone in, tune into them when you're doing the readings. So it's actually what's going to separate you from all the other readers around town when you really breathe into your own intuition with your deck that you've chosen for yourself. It's your gut instinct that makes the difference, right? It's your gut instinct that will tell you the things that the cards won't, right? Because the tarot gets pretty, how should I say it? It's pretty vague most of the time, right? So in order to get a real answer, you got to really tune into yourself. So, for example, I'm going to let you know this. I was doing some readings on the phone, and or when I'm doing readings for Skype or on the phone, or even if it's the other side of the table, I really pick up on the person's energy. But this one particular time I did a reading for a lady in the UK, and I kept on having this nagging feeling. I was talking to her for like 20 minutes and kept on thinking like, geez, I'm feeling almost like I need to be exercising, right? I got busy and I was doing her reading, and I kept on thinking, I feel like exercising, and she was ready to go, right? I felt like that. After about 20 minutes into this, I asked her, are you supposed to be working out right now, or did you just start a new routine, or what's going on? And or if you're not, then it's a good time for you to start, because I feel like you need to move, right? And then she goes, oh wow, I can't even believe it. She goes, I actually just hired a trainer, and they're coming over right after our phone call, and I'm in my workout gear and I'm ready to roll. So I thought that was funny. So my intuition and my empathic feelings actually told me this. So tune in if you're feeling like that energy, like you have to move or start running or whatever it is, and notice it, realize it, and please do say something to the person you're reading, because it actually just makes you just that much more legitimate, that you tuned in enough that you can feel that, right? So before you start doing the readings, make sure you know, do your little ritual before you start, you know, shuffle your deck, breathe in deep, ask for above to help you, give the most guided and best message for all, and thank all your guides and their guides and everybody, and then start your reading and get into it. And that's what I find when you get into that little routine of where you shuffle first and you breathe and you, you know, take that extra 30 seconds before you start. And then you can really tune into people's feelings, okay? So I talked a little bit about the aces, and what I'm going to do here is I am going to tell you here, this is a little bit of homework for you for after this video. And I've done this before, but I'm going to do it again. It's great. It's a neat little thing. So what I do is I just set my phone alarm, or any alarm that you have, for 5 or 10 minutes, excuse me, and do a little meditation. To start off with, I'm going to suggest that you do it with the ace of each suit. So what you want to do is you find a quiet area in your home where you're not going to be disturbed, and I would suggest to do this. I like to do them separately, like on different days. So in between this lesson and the next lesson, you have roughly about 2 weeks. So do maybe 2 cards over the week at some point. Set your alarm for 5 to 10 minutes. Find a nice place, quiet place to sit. Doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter how you're sitting. I actually am a firm believer that you don't have to have your feet planted on the ground to do a proper meditation. I think that Spirit knows you're comfortable if you're comfortable, so just sit whatever way, or even lay down if you feel like it. But maybe sitting is better for this, because I want you to actually look at your card and kind of soften your eyes and look at the card, and then as you sit, you softly gaze at it and you breathe deeply, right? So you look at your card and you go do it 3 times at least, more if you wish. Look at the card. Notice the card. What symbols jump out at you in this card? I often find that things start jumping out to me in a certain way. So, even the littlest thing, like on this card, there's a little tiny butterfly, and that one always pops out to me sometimes when I find that there's a person that's actually transforming their money habits, or if they're transforming their health. The butterfly equals symbolism for transformation, right? Because it goes from a caterpillar to a beautiful butterfly. So, and what do those symbolic meanings to you mean? Okay, so you notice the card, what symbols jump out at you, and what do these symbols mean to you? So everyone has a different way of describing, or a different feeling to what everything means, right? So if the dove is popping out to you in the Ace of Cups, what does the dove mean? General meaning for birds are spirits with you, or spirits guiding you to go that way. Or in the swords here, there's a crown. That, to me, it kind of means your thinking cap. Good, solid thinking cap. You have control. You are the crown, the king or queen of your kingdom, and you've got your new idea, right? Or if, you know, I see the flowers in there too, which is always growth, and they're red, so it's passionate growth. Ace of Wands here, there's the rock that's split in two. So, you know, to me, this is about opportunity, and you kind of got a fork in the road, but you have to move towards it. And what's here, there's a raven that is kind of, and ravens are shapeshifters, they call them, so they can come to you in any shape or form, and they're message senders as well. So ravens give you messages if you're listening. And again, like the dove, they're from above. So Spirit brings messages to you through birds, which is very, and I have a lot of birds around my neighborhood. I love it. And I see robins and everybody all the time, and hawks, eagles. And then finally, what I really, really, really want you to do after this 5 minutes is take 5 minutes to write down your findings. This is very, very important. So you write down your symbols, what showed up for you. Ask the card to show you the essence of its meaning to you in a way that you can relate to it. So just look at it and let your mind go blank and let those messages come in. So write down your findings, and this is how you get your very own style and create your very own meanings, right? So, okay, so I'll just quickly go over the Ace of Wands again. That's about work, relationships, people in our lives, passion, and our ambitions. Ask the card to show you what the meaning is, and the Ace of Wands is a moment of new opportunity that should be acted upon. In reverse, it suggests to maybe skip the opportunity at this moment. Maybe not a good idea, maybe something needs more time, or maybe it's just a bad idea altogether. Either way, hold off. And Pentacles are about health and money, so that's about finding a new way to make money, new job, new opportunity, new job front. It's also time to look for a job, start new health program. In reverse, it tells you you've been ignoring your health, or spending too much, or gain control of your spending, or maybe it's not the best time to jump on the opportunity before you again, right? So generally when an ace is upright, it means yes, and if it's reversed, it's not a great time to start that project. So swords as well, I'm going to talk about intellect and good choices. So like I said before, swords are all about, you know, being smart, our smarts, and sometimes there's difficult choices put before us, right? So the Two of Swords is the biggest, to me, the biggest card that says you're in a dilemma and you need to choose one way or another. You got a big decision to make. So this is when, you know, that's the second part of the cycle. So you get your good idea, right, with the Ace, and then you want to move forward, but you're not sure how to go, right? So when the Ace of Swords pops up, it generally brings us those bright ideas, or it releases a particular situation that previously couldn't be solved. So this is about thinking outside the box, logically and practically, and it usually brings that aha moment, like Oprah says, right? Brings that light bulb moment where you go, aha, why didn't I think of this before, right? So if you get that card and you're in a sticky situation, that's a perfect card to get. So if it comes in the reverse, it kind of tells us sometimes that harsh, brutal truth that we don't want to know, but it is actually helpful for us, so we can finally see it for ourselves as well. But the Ace of Swords is brilliant because it brings a new direction, out of the box thinking, and new perspectives, pardon me. Okay, and the Cups, Ace of Cups, are all about our emotions and intimate relationships. Ask the card to show its meaning for you, right? So I literally translate this card as to being and giving the gift of love. When I see it in a card reading for somebody, I always say, have you just met somebody, or you're probably going to meet somebody to date, or have a new love, or the other thing too is because it's regarding emotional wellness and creativity. It's about a new creative project that you could be coming up against, or just starting, or all of that stuff. Or it's just something to get passionate about, something that you've been waiting for in your life. Or it could be like a pet, or, you know, a new pet is always a good one too. So whether that person that you're reading, they may have a husband or a wife already, or maybe they just freshened up their love, you know, and they're on a kind of honeymoon again. Or if it's in reverse, it suggests that the person has been maybe overly sensitive, emotional, and they need to get balanced with a spiritual or emotional cleansing, and most likely their chakras are blocked as well. So we'll go on further here. So, you know, balancing of chakras, I just saw a little cute thing today where there was a person wearing blue scarf and green shirt and red pants and brown shoes, and it said, no, my dressing isn't off, I'm trying to balance my chakras. I thought it was very cute. So bringing the colors into our lives will balance those chakras as well. So that's just another point to think about. Okay, so again, I'm going to just mention that this is not my own spread. We're going to go on to the universe spread. So I hope you have your deck separated, and we'll go on to that. This is a good spread for when you don't know what to ask. When your life is going okay, but you feel like maybe there's something you should know. A little bit something more you should know about getting that message from above. It's awesome. And let's go here. So now, so shuffle, you have your deck separated, and shuffle it. You're going to have to bear with me here. I'm going to shuffle, and I'm going to take the top card and the bottom card, and I'll tell you why. That was Wands. I'm just going to put it that way because so you can see it. This is, and Wands are to do with work, and top card and bottom card, and this is Pentacles, and here we go with Cups. And I usually actually shuffle for a bit longer, but you know what? for the purposes of this video. That's our emotional state. And swords here. One from here and one from here. That's our intellect. And here's the major arcana. Okay, I hope these are good cards because you're watching me do this. And I always get a little nervous when I start pulling stuff on camera like this for everybody. So the top and the bottom. So now what we do is we separate the deck and we place them like this. Wands are work, swords are intellect, major arcana, which is the Fool to the World card. That's the spiritual aspect of our life. The cups are our emotions. We want to place them there. And the pentacles are the physical aspect of our life. So, what I do, you always pull the top card to find out how you're doing. And then, for advice on how to remedy where you're at or what the next step is for you, you pull the bottom card. And then, because I'm always so curious, I don't know if you guys know this about me or not, but I'm always super duper curious. And I always pull a third card out of the middle somewhere to ask what my next step is in whatever area I'm looking at, because I'm just that way. So, and I like to know things. So, okay, so let's see. So the top card for Wands is the Knight of Wands. So that's actually kind of nice. I always think of the Knight of Wands as well as a romantic time, right? Because the guy's kneeling, he's looking at you, and it's about getting romantic, I think, with work. So I'm falling in love with my work. I want to thank you for being with me actually while I'm doing this. So that's for me. I like this card right now. But let's see some advice for work. Oh. Instead of the Queen of Wands. So instead of being where I'm at right now is I'm a young boy, but I should be the queen. And get creative. So let's find out. Which one is Wands? Is it this one Wands? No, that's Pentacles. Ooh. So, advice, and I got 5 of Wands here. So, 5 of Wands is all about conflict. So, oftentimes to do with work especially, I have conflicting feelings about things. So, this is a message for me to get clear on things for work, right? Which is actually because this 5 of Wands, it can be an internal mishap or confusion or conflict, or it can be that somebody else brings up conflict. Whatever, personally, right now, this is a message from the universe. I kind of feel like this, for me, is within myself. And that's how I feel it is. So, my advice is that, my advice for me is to forget about the conflict in life and be the Queen of Wands, which is a very creative lady that hosts parties and such. So, which is good news because I'm starting tarot teachings out of my house. So, if you're in the Vancouver area, please feel free to check out the website and come on down. So, we're going to go to Swords, which is now our intellect. And let's see what the top card is. Okay, top card is 6 of Swords, which is actually a very good card because it means that I'm moving forward, which is good, but don't take your past with you. This is what that card means. I often think of this card too as, if you watch the YouTube videos, you want to leave the past behind on the riverbed before you take off, because once you're here and you're taking the swords with you, you can't see what's before you. And if you decide to lose some of those ideals halfway across the river and you take out the swords, what's going to happen? Your boat's going to sink, right? So in that respect, time to leave the past behind and keep on moving forward. And this card promises that there's smoother water ahead, which is good news. Okay, let's see what the advice is. So I should learn here to show you guys this, sorry. Advice is Seven of Swords, which something's missing on the intellect front. Or this can also mean that people are thieving, which I don't actually like that terminology. There could be fibbers amongst us, or people talking behind your back or something like that. So let's find out what that's related to. And this is exactly what I'm talking about when I like to do my cards, right? Woo! Jeez, you guys, I'm sorry. The Three of Swords, I gotta get over something in my mind. I know what it is, but I'm not gonna talk to you guys about it. Sorry, that's my own thing. Use your intuition right now and tell me what it's about. You can always email me. Okay. So a message from for universe, for work, I just got to continue to be creative and be the hostess with the mostest. And for the swords, a message from the universe for me is to move ahead, don't bring the past with me. And that's always the hardest part, isn't it? When we're talking about our mind and such, we really have to, it's all about training our brain, and that's what I talk about in the Law of Attraction and the Feng Shui videos that I do. And it's all about that daily affirmations and keeping yourself positive, which I try to do, and it's a constant work in progress, trust me. Okay, so let's go on to the spiritual. So the top card, the Hanged Man. I actually like this card because it's a time for reassessment. So this is kind of where I'm at right now. I'm reassessing situations, which is actually quite true on the spiritual front. This is for the spiritual front. It's a time of waiting, reassessment, meditation, and you choose to be there. It's nobody's forcing you to do anything, and I'm a big believer that things all come in good time, and I know exactly what this is about. This is about rising above the stormy waters for me, and this is also to do with a project that I do have that's been on hold for a little while. So, and it's spiritual in nature. So let's find out. Whoa, this magnet. Ooh, look at this. Okay, so we've got the Wheel of Fortune for the spirituality as well. This means karmic fate is coming for me. Woo! And it will feel kind of bizarre. Or I always look at the Wheel of Fortune as a card where you just can't predict it. And the deal is the karmic fate, right? So spiritually, something's going to come up that's going to bonk me upside the head. And what's the advice? Let's find out what the advice is for that one. Woo! But the other thing too is about the Wheel of Fortune. It just means don't be rigid with your plans as well. But my advice is to celebrate and be happy and let the warmth of the sun in, which is wonderful, because I'm glad that came up after this intellect thing. Let's find out about cups. Let's find out. Top card is the Ace of Cups. Yay! And this is right in time for me right now because I'm doing the love series and I'm bringing love into my life. So this is beautiful. Being the gift of love, giving the gift of love, reacquainting and romances, which I'm trying to do with my boyfriend. You know, we're okay, we're good, but it's always nice to be a little more loving, right? So let's find out what the advice is here. Oh, Page of Cups, which is all about being creative as well. Creativity, she is really the most, I'd like to say, the most creative out of the bunch of pages. She's one of those ones that will, she always promise, like she creates things and then she'll just give it away to anybody. So this is in relation to what makes me happy is doing some paintings and being creative, right? So emotionally I have to get creative. And look at this, you guys. I got the Two of Cups, which is actually quite beautiful, which means everything you touch turns to gold, and there's great, great love. And when I first manifested my boyfriend, I always imagined us to have this golden healing light around us, which is beautiful. So my emotional wellness is doing really well here, so I'm happy about that. So it's just about being that, having that childlike wonder and moving forward, right? Whatever. There we go. Now let's find out about the physical. This is where I'm nervous because I hurt myself. So Page of Pentacles in reverse. So this just means that to me, pages represent messages as well. So there's, and I'm seeing the butterfly here. Change is on the horizon, but it's been taking a lot longer than I thought. I hurt myself last August, and I'm just feeling like I'm starting to recover now. So let's find out what my advice is. Two of Pentacles, which is all about juggling work and health. So I keep on keeping on. I keep going to the physio and I keep juggling everything that I have to do, even though it's taking perhaps longer for my work to get out, which kind of bothers me, to be honest. And then, check it out, I asked for my advice and it's the Ace of Pentacles, which is good. That means the health is transforming. So that's wonderful. I actually feel it, so that's really good. What I would say in this respect, now because of this, and we're almost done out of time here, but for work I've got to remain creative, and I'm kind of in the middle of a cycle here because I've got a Five of Wands about the feeling and stuff like that, whereas I'm at the beginning of the Cups for the emotion because I've got, I'm at the beginning of an emotional cycle because I got the Ace and the Two, so I'm at 1 and 2. And the same thing happened for the Ace of Pentacles, and I got the Two of Pentacles as well. So the emotions and physical aspects of my life are actually just beginning again. I just closed one way of thinking perhaps, and opening up to new love, new emotions, and new physical wellness, which is good because I've been waiting for that physical all the time. Now the spirituality, what did I have here? Oh, the Sun is actually the end, is the second to last card, so it's, where is it? Yeah, 21. And, or 19, sorry, I don't know. But it's nearing the end, so, of the cycle in the major arcana. So throughout this cycle, yeah, it's 10, 12, So this is the spiritual aspect as well, is it's kind of in the middle and it wants me to be happy. So if you can relate to that. Or, you know, you can actually please email me if you have any insights on this for me as you're watching this. But I feel that it's kind of the middle aspect. I'm in the middle of my spiritual growth in this, and they just want me to be happy and getting closer to the end. And I know exactly what this is about. This is about my book. Now, in the intellect department, because we all have different cycles, right? So every cycle, when I talk about a cycle, it's that natural growth cycle where we have to go through. So, you know, we've got the 6 and 7 here, which is actually quite funny that it goes exactly 6 and then 7. So there's, and I often look at the 7 of Swords as there's just one aspect missing. And I find that sometimes with myself, I actually talk to myself quite a bit. And no, I'm not crazy, I just find it very intelligent conversation. And, but it's about that moving forward, right? So I'm at the beginning of these ones. Maybe I should hurry up on the intellect and get right back to the front where there's a good idea and move forward. And it's always about that ever... we always have to constantly release, and that's what the 3 of Swords is. The 3 of Swords is that pain that you had from before, and you have to get over it, right? So no matter what hurtful words that someone might have said, you have to get over it. You can't walk around with sores in your heart all the time. And you have to leave the past behind and move over to smoother aspects, and you should know that you have it within you to do that. And about the work aspect, that was the Queen of Wands. It was to start off with the Knight of Wands, which means I'm being a young, boyish romantic with my business, which isn't entirely bad. But I do need to get a little more serious. I do need to host parties, tarot parties, do the parties. I actually have a tarot party tonight. And I see the cat really big on this one, so it's about being independent. And the sunflower, and I always think of as major growth, and yellow being joy, which relates it to the sun for me. And the 5 of Wands is about work too, is about that conflict within yourself. Now, I do have a lot of conflicts. I have a lot of directions that I go into, and I know that I need to focus more often sometimes. So, but I'm a Libra. I like to be balanced. I like to, and I'm also the Queen of Swords, and that's what I'm highly intellectual, but I also go the woo-woo way. So, but being creative and hosting parties and stuff is where it's at, and that's what they're telling me to do, and that's what I'm going to do. So, because I always listen to my messages from the universe. Okay. So with that, I am going to wrap this session up. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know what you think. If you've got any insights for me, let me know. I'd love to hear it. And other than that, if you have any questions or anything, you can pop me an email, milamizo@gmail.com. And that's it for this time. I hope you enjoyed it. I really love this spread, and don't forget to make sure to get the PDF that's going to be available for this, so you can keep it for your records. And don't forget to join if you haven't subscribed yet. Make sure you join. I have now offered a 1-month trial for free, so sign up. Can't wait to do some more tarot teachings with you. It's going to be out on the 11th and 22nd every month with a PDF, and we're going to learn that way. It's part of the Sapphire Circle membership, and I wish you all the best, and plenty of tarot teachings and lots of good knowledge and spirit-filled insights. It's going to be good. as we keep on growing here. It's going to be fun. We're going to do different spreads, different stuff. Next time is all on the court card. So, lots of love, and I'll see you on Tarot Teachings Volume 3. Bye!